Hello, everyone. Welcome back. I'm Dean Barlage, and this is Timeless Obsession. Another episode to remind everyone that life is not perfect. It's chaotic at times. It could be hilarious, it could be frustrating, maybe emotional, maybe overwhelming, but absolutely fantastic. And I'm here to remind you that life is a gift. It's absolutely beautiful, that life. And everyone follows their own journey, their own path. And what is going to come across a lot of folks' path is Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving to everyone. It's a holiday that I came to appreciate and respect a lot more. And today, I'm going to talk about that. How I believe it's important to have traditions, to keep these traditions not only as a forced holiday or forced get togethers, but also let these traditions be examples, let them be teachers, learning lessons for the next generations, or perhaps just for other family members and friends. I think it's one of the most honest holidays that we have. Not like in this picture perfect version, this Instagram world, for example. Not that type of perfect, where everyone behaves for 24 hours and all that kind of stuff. Not the highlight reel on Instagram. No, real Thanksgiving. Real Thanksgiving that the Thanksgiving that happens in people's homes with their families, emotions, everything associated, and the chaos. The Thanksgiving where sometimes a turkey just gets burned, where someone steps on someone's toes, where people complain about each other. One arrives too early, the other one arrives too late. The one arrives too early, you're still in the shower preparing, getting ready. And then one drinks too much, another one cries. One suddenly disappears like a magic trick during the cleanup. Well, I think that's exactly that Thanksgiving. And it's also that part where someone probably says, we should do this more often. This Thanksgiving, this get together. And everyone is thinking, no, hell no, we're not going to do this. This is way too crazy and too chaotic. But the beautiful part is this is exactly the whole point. Because I'm saying this because I've heard it all. The chaos, the families, the travel, the insanity. At first, I had different plans for myself, but let me tell you real quick. I wanted to go somewhere out of town. I wanted to travel myself. I'll get back to that part later, what I'm doing, but it is absolutely insane. On one side, I find it so valuable and so important where people take and make the effort. On the other hand, it's that forced part that we got to talk about. But even in all the chaos, there are it's these magical moments, these little pockets of absolute amazing situations, little pockets of magic where you realize how lucky you really are and how lucky you are to share the life with some of those people. Excuse me. And that is exactly what we're going to dive into today. Why Thanksgiving is special, but the real reason. And as a lot of folks know me, I try to carry myself to the highest standard when it comes down to positivity. And like I said, it's not this fake kind good vibes only. No, real positivity where you can overcome hardship, but you still believe and know that you will come better out at the end of it. I want this episode to feel good from the beginning. And again, I believe that Thanksgiving is an absolute incredible holiday. It's not because of the food, even though a lot of folks celebrate this holiday because of the food, but it's top tier. It's amazing. Like, to be honest, if you like or don't like turkey, but the festivities around it, what it has grown into, spectacular to say the least. But I think it's one of those few days where, especially in America, the entire country, it presses pause. It's what we talked about a little while ago. And I asked this question to some clients at times. I asked them, wouldn't you wish to press the pause button? Oh my God, Dean, yes, 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 yes. It's always yes. It's always yes. But it's this time where we pause, where we gather, we eat, we drink, we laugh, we cry, we share beautiful moments, we share stories. Maybe we argue, maybe we reconnect, maybe we reflect. And this is the part where I have to mention again where Thanksgiving forces us to sit at the table together. And what a lot of people don't understand is that that is a luxury not for everyone able to be enjoyed. Not everyone can celebrate Thanksgiving. And you may not think about it that way, but let's just take a moment and take a look around in the world. Many countries don't have a holiday dedicated to gratitude. It's honestly a day for nothing else but appreciation. And I find that phenomenal. And yes, I got to mention it. Some folks are like, well, do you know the real beginnings of this holiday and how it came about? I don't want to say it doesn't matter because it does matter. But what is even more important is what this holiday has become, what it has evolved into. And I think that is absolutely fantastic. It's probably the most positive holiday of the year. And the realization is that many people don't have tables full of food. The realization is that they maybe don't even have a family to gather with. I know friends that are close to me that maybe have friends that are more than actual family. Many don't have the luxury of eating until they're uncomfortable because that is what everyone says, the food coma. Who has the time? Who has the money? Who has the family, the luxury for all of that? And I've seen it. I've lived it, and it makes me value this holiday on a completely different level. So much more. A table full of food is not normal for everyone. A warm house is not normal everywhere. A day off work is not normal everywhere. Laughter is not normal everywhere. And I believe that is one of the big reasons why tradition matters so much, why it matters to me, because traditions are how we teach without having some speech prepared. They are these tiny little lessons of ingratitude, respect, effort, presence, and you have these traditions. It's kind of like you inherit them, giving them to family, friends. You invite people that don't understand these traditions, and at a certain point, this is something beautiful. When the president, when I took my oath to become a citizen, there was a video of the president, and he mentioned our traditions are now your traditions, and that honestly, it's like it gets me a little bit like, whoa, that hits. That really, really hits. And we inherit these traditions and we pass them on. I think when we go into it with that type of mindset, I think we're going to already have a much better time to surviving these holidays like Thanksgiving. So we got to get to the fun part. As always, I prepared a couple of things. I wrote down a couple fun one-liners. My phone was full in my notes app from the last 2, 3 weeks. That's when people kind of get ready. It's like after Halloween, boom, Thanksgiving is the next one, and it fell a little bit later this year than usual. And I've done the last couple of years have been really amazing. Thanksgiving dinners, get-togethers, etc. It's been always been a little bit different. But in the past, I had, let's say, Chinese food when my parents were here, for example. I didn't understand it yet, but I'm very, very happy that I do now. But the fun thing is that Thanksgiving does bring out some strange or odd behavior, because every family member or friend, they they have some particular character traits. Like I said, like some folks arrive early before the host is even ready, or they arrive late when everyone's already sitting at the dinner table and they just start eating and they leave already at the time. You have the children that turn the whole room into an absolute circus. You have the cousin or friend or whatever it is who doesn't know what else to talk about than bragging, or everything is a competition, you know? Or you got the guy that's like, no one touched a particular dish, and, then they just say, huh, interesting choice. So it's like, I got to laugh about it, because these are the situations that I've had. And, for a lot of folks, it goes a little bit deeper, where a friend of mine, he said it really well. He says, for some folks, Thanksgiving sucks. And I'm just going to have this conversation with y'all where it's maybe a little bit enlightening, where it doesn't need to suck. But the truth is, it's also how you go about it, how you prepare for it. And it's funny, it's ridiculous, it's predictable. And because it's predictable, you can prepare yourself. And I think it's part of the charm of it all. And the fun thing is, you got to laugh about it after. You got to try to take it a little bit more lighthearted, because everyone feels the same. You do not think that your family is the weirdest or the craziest or anything. No, 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 no. It's with everyone. It's really with everyone. In the US, it's more often so than not. They're like, my family is crazy. This is insane. You roll your eyes, try to laugh about it. But honestly, I believe deep down, we don't want it any other way. That's the beauty about it, because behind all that chaos, there's something really, really real. People show up, people showing up year after year, people being human, and people hopefully being themselves. And this holiday, what I find so amazing at this holiday is all about gratitude, Thanksgiving. And a lot of folks, they struggle with gratitude, because I mean, it's not because they are maybe ungrateful, they don't have gratitude, but they struggle with it. They're overwhelmed by it at times, or they're stressed. They maybe are not so comfortable in group settings. Like, some folks don't even hold hands anymore. Hey, we're grateful for each other, or anything like that. Or let's say grace. These are things that are trying to be pushed away. We don't need to do this. I think it's nice to implement it. It doesn't need to be so serious. It can be more lighthearted. But some folks might be dealing with things internally that nobody sees or understands. And Thanksgiving is one of those particular holidays that really drags all the emotions out of people. It's kind of like, you have a spotlight. I have a spotlight on me right now, and it feels like everyone has a spotlight on their individual selves, and they cannot process that properly. Where instead, like, instead of people saying like, oh, thank you, thanks for, just having gratitude, it's like, it's not my favorite recipe, or like, turkey's a little dry. People have an easier time judging or complaining, rather than being grateful or sharing gratitude. And the other side is where I would have a big mouth and say something. I'm like, dude, shut the up and just be grateful. And the positive vibe, the positive part about this is, I'm not the solution with that comment, with that reaction, and the other side not either. But one person can switch the whole room around. They can completely shift the energy in the room. You compliment the host. You compliment their cooking. You thank them for it. The vibe in the room changes. You say, this looks amazing. Someone's going to breathe a lot easier. You tell, doesn't matter who it is, I'm happy you're here. I'm happy I'm here with you. And you will not believe, but it changes the whole night. It changes the whole evening. And it's not where gratitude or any of these comments, they don't fix anything, but they do make the whole situation a whole lot more smooth and maybe easier to handle and deal with. And look, no one's trying to deny that families are chaotic. They just are. That's history, old school dynamics. People fall back into the roles and they're just used to certain things, and it's very, very hard to get people to step out of their old habits. There's things that are often unsaid, and things start to kind of, get a little bit tense at times. There's maybe unresolved situations and there's patterns. And again, Thanksgiving brings all of these to the surface. And again, the positive lining about all this, it's predictable, so you can prepare for it. You know exactly who in the family or friends is going to get loud, who's going to get competitive, the one who instigates, the one who overshares, the one who critiques the food, the one who eats too much, the one who doesn't eat enough, or the one who disappears when you're cleaning up and suddenly poof. And you can prepare for it instead of reacting. It sounds a lot easier, but maybe try. You take a deep breath. You approach it with a smile. You approach it with humor, with grace, with maturity, with patience. And it doesn't mean that you will accept or tolerate disrespect. It really doesn't have anything to do with it because everyone's going through something. But it just means that that you choose not to let the chaos rule you, or rather, better said, rule your emotions. You set the tone, you set the pace for the evening. You can choose the positive energy that you're bringing out in the room, and you just decide how you respond. And look, I'm we're talking about this gathering, right? And all this chaos. And while everyone is doing these family gatherings, I'm going to say, I think, something that is just as important, where I also feel because it's a lot of pressure sometimes, and sometimes you want to do things. I have more than a handful of invitations for Thanksgiving gatherings, for dinners. And some people were super close, and it's been phenomenal in the past, and that's beautiful. It's great, but it's also okay to skip a year. Yes, it's okay to skip a year. You heard it right. You don't have to show up to every single Thanksgiving the same way just because it is tradition. As beautiful as it is, I think I think life has its seasons. We all go through a different time at a particular time of the year. One Christmas is bigger, one Thanksgiving is smaller, one Thanksgiving is bigger, one Christmas is smaller. Just as an example, families grow, people change, they move, so many different variables. But sometimes the most the most memorable or the most meaningful Thanksgiving is the one that you just spend a little bit different. And this year, for example, my wife and I are doing something that is maybe not totally unique for us, but we're just celebrating it different. There's no big gathering. There's not running from one house to another house. We're not hosting, and we're not in the middle of any of the circus as much as I do really love it. But we're taking a little trip, just us, somewhere nearby, along one of our favorite places, the California coast. And for us, that is just very special because the ocean, it's kind of like the pace, it slows you down. The air, the wind, a little bit away from the city. I think everyone can kind of like relate to that. And I believe that traffic isn't going to be so hectic. So that might just be really nice to cruise peacefully along the coast. But the air is so great. I mean, it's really fantastic to live here in California, to experience all these American traditions and values. It's fantastic, but it brings a certain kind of pressure or stress with it as well. And I will always choose myself and my family and what's best for them. And that is not something selfish. That is just self-respect. I think there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. And, it's just, again, it's beautiful. It's a place where we feel that we recharge. The life gets just a little quiet, but, without spoiling too much, because it's important to keep it also a little private. It's our little family, and that is perfect. That is Thanksgiving, and it's absolutely enough. Maybe next year, going to be in between 20, 30 people. Who knows? And also, that is going to be absolutely spectacular. So you don't owe the world anything or every version of you. And sometimes the tradition that you need is the one that you maybe build yourself in peace and quiet. So it's for everyone, it's a little bit different. So if it's just for the two of us, a little small family, that doesn't make you selfish. Not at all. It just makes you more intentional about what you like to do or not to do. And if you're doing your holiday, if you're doing your Thanksgiving or Christmas or anything really a little bit differently this year, well, let me tell you something. There's nothing wrong with that. Great. Enjoy it. It's beautiful because sometimes that's exactly what you need. Fantastic. I absolutely think it's a very, very important part to just choose something and stand behind that. But I get to a part. I have a couple things of my notes over here that I've pulled up. How do you make this holiday better? We talked about certain issues and all that kind of stuff that happens, but how do you make it better? An actual way to make Thanksgiving enjoyable. Well, start the day with gratitude. Simple moments of appreciation absolutely changes your energy. This is an effect that I have on some people. Like, Dean, you walk in and it's like everything is great again, right? And it's not to like show off or anything like that, but it's just a little pep in your step, a little bit of like joie de vivre, not taking yourself so serious. I think it can change the attitude from some people, and it's also nice to help without someone asking you. Family, friends, it doesn't matter who it is, but it takes the pressure off the host because always know, no matter if they've ordered it, if they started from scratch, there's always some pressure on the host because the host really wants to make you feel good. They want to make you feel warm, welcome, and they want to feed you well. It's a certain pride. And a lot of folks, they underestimate that. Even though if it's from somewhere, some people paid money for this. So the appreciation for that, I believe it's okay to not overreact to that too intensely. And again, it shifts the whole atmosphere. Some things get said during Thanksgiving dinner, and some people make silly comments. And sometimes in those situations, especially on those get-togethers, it's important not to overreact so it doesn't ruin your night. Be aware, be present. You don't need to be perfect, but be aware. The phone, the phone, put it away. Put it in your pocket, put it in your purse, whatever. Enjoy the people in the room. You maybe don't get to have so many situations together. Why would you be so distracted? Be present. Talk to the kids, talk to the adults, have conversations that you normally wouldn't have. I think it's important to go in with an intention like that, with a little bit of preparation. And it's the little moments, the small moments, a little joke, a smile, a memory that you share, maybe even a hug that lasts a second or two longer. You have no idea on the impact it can make for the other person because, again, you don't know what's happening behind closed doors. You don't know what's happening in their life. It might all look so bright and everything, but it's wonderful when you try to just to be that little bit better. Those little things, they matter. They really, really matter. And last but not least, and this is actually the beginning as well, bring the warmth, bring the lovable energy, and put some of your differences aside because everyone's going to have an opinion about something, but coming together is not something that everyone can celebrate. And it's very, very, very special. And again, Thanksgiving, it's like I said earlier, it teaches something very, very, very valuable without even saying a word. This holiday is so remarkable. It teaches patience, it teaches gratitude. It's I learned recently it actually also teaches forgiveness. It's about letting go of certain little things. It teaches understanding. There's so many values that it actually brings with. And one thing at the presence in the middle of it is it teaches love. And some folks grew up with a lot of love, some folks with a little bit less. And I think love is the key to everything. Like I said before, it's the highest frequency. And people are like, Dean, what do you mean? Let's just say love is probably the most important thing on the planet. And it's real love. It's imperfect love. It's the kind that's a little bit messy at times. It's not just like a heart shaped and so wholesome. It's love, it's chaos together because life is short. That's a fact. People change, the tables change, the rooms change. People move on, traditions evolve, some things fall apart, some things get together a little bit more. And the people that we gather with today might not always be there in the future. So cherish that. Really, really value that. And that is why moments like these matter so much. So I think that encompasses a lot of this holiday. We can talk more about the pro, we can talk even more about the con, but overall, I hope that people take away something before going into this Thanksgiving dinner. Maybe they've already experienced it when they're listening to this episode, but hopefully they'll maybe ease off a little bit because Thanksgiving is not about perfection. It's not. It's about the appreciation. It's about remembering that even in the chaos, even in the noise, even in the stress, there's beauty. There's absolute beauty. And there's beauty in effort. There's beauty in in the stress of preparing a turkey that someone's trying to make that is going to be juicy and tasty. The beauty of tradition and family. I mean, just that in itself, it doesn't matter if it comes from your chosen family or from your biological family. It is amazing the beauty of this harmony together, of this connection together, that just simply being there. I find it really, really incredible because there's one thing that is very, very, very significant. And this might not just be the case with Thanksgiving, but there will be a day where you'll wish there would be one more loud living room like that, or dining room, or kitchen where people run around, talk, and everything. There's going to be a day where you wish for that burned turkey, for that little different side that you weren't so prepared for the way it tasted. There's going to be a day where you wish there's going to be one more Thanksgiving. So again, I repeat myself, cherish it. Cherish it no matter or however you're celebrating it, with family, with friends, a small gathering, big gathering, at a restaurant, at a lunch, whatever. Be present, be grateful, have the appreciation. Try to be kind. Be the good in the room. I'm Dean Barlage, and this is Timeless Obsession. And today, we give thanks. Enjoy.